Nobel Peace Prize in 74, the Lenin Peace Prize in 75, and the UNESCO Silver Medal of Service in 1980. Now, we'll hear from our next guest via video link. Good morning, Father McFadden. Seems to be a technical error here.
I can't be with you there this evening. I fear I'm too old for the travelling.
So, Father, please tell us about how you met Maud.
Well, Eamon, it was a long time ago, but I remember it as if it were yesterday. The poor people of North Donegal, and indeed all over Donegal and Ireland, were being brutally evicted by the English landlords. People were thrown out onto the streets, whether they were young, old, sick, or dying. You know something? It was worse than the famine. But Maud, at great danger, time, personal expense, tried to do what she could to get the land back to the evictees in our area through the Land League. Every person Maud promised to help, she did. She's a remarkable woman and treats every life as equal and precious.
Thank you, Father, for your heartfelt testimony about Maud. Good evening. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for this evening. We didn't have time to touch on your work setting up the Daughters of Ireland, but you have touched and improved the lives of thousands of people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Patricia, not Maud, and I would like to introduce you to Jimmy and to Ryan. You've probably figured out by now that we are not actors. We are actually students on the Design for Creative Practice Master's course in the E in Derry. We've come from very different design disciplines, but we're collaborating on a multidisciplinary design research paper for the Drew Conference, which is happening in January in Bundoran. The theme for the conference is Transatlantic Connections, and there were many subjects on which you could submit papers, but we chose to commemorate a 19th century revolutionary woman, so we chose Maud Gonne. We started looking at Maud's life, and it became very clear early on that there were two distinctive sides to her character, the public and the private. And then we started to think about how would the media portray Maud today? And it's at this point I would like to hand you over to Jimmy to continue our story.
Hi. Well, while we were researching, we became intrigued with the idea of how media would influence your perception of people. And you saw at the start with the Jeremy Kyle style that it sort of paints a very negative image, and that tends to be the side that modern media would focus more on people. Perhaps if Maud Gonne had existed today, people would have just written her off, because all of the personal drama and all the gossip. And we identified a need for a platform for inspirational women to share ideas and beliefs, but just in a way that doesn't make them look horrible. You want to continue on there?
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, so basically what we want to do is we'd like to breathe life into the inspirational attributes of Maud Gonne. We want to communicate our message primarily to a young Irish woman, and we want to, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to be developing and exploring a platform for Maud and her contemporary counterparts. We'll be considering a range of approaches such as drama, maybe not, workshops, printed material, social media, website, blogs, and possibly even interactive installations. We hope you enjoyed our presentation today as much as we did, kind of. And now we'd like to invite any questions from anybody in the audience. Thank you. Any questions? Any takers?
Who is presenting in January, is it?
Yeah.
It's a Drew Conference. It's a conference that's been set up by a lady called Neve Hamill, and she's from the area, and she's studying in Drew, and it's part of her PhD to set up a program. So she's organised this conference. It's the second year that it's happening. There's a very large number of events happening. There will be a lot of conferences and talks and workshops, and you can check it out online if you Google Drew Conference, and it's happening from the 14th of January to the 18th of January, and it's in Bundoran.
Yeah, just ask the question there. The time scale, is it quite tight for you now until January, or do you find it's comfortable with 3 months?
Well, considering how, how we put the show together, yeah, I mean, it's aspirational, all right. You know, maybe it'll be a proposal and a study of how women can be portrayed in a better light within Ireland. I don't know. Ryan, if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, I think 6 weeks does seem like a short amount of time, but our focus in the next 6 weeks will be to produce an academic paper, which is actually part of Drew, and we'll be submitting that. The way we present today might look very different when we get to Drew, but what we want to try and communicate, we do want to have a tangible resource, something that is available. It may be in early stages at that point, but what we will have come January is certainly a presentation, an academic paper, and a resource that is either beginning to be developed or in early stages of development that is around the ethos of what we're talking about in relation to mod. Yeah.
I'm just curious about your own backgrounds. What are your undergraduate areas?
Yeah, well, I have a degree in technology and design. I've been working for local government for and the community sector for over 10 years on issues around community safety and actually drug and alcohol related issues. So I've come back to study my master's in design for creative practice to help me find more creative and innovative ways of tackling complex kind of problems and stuff like that. You know. I don't think that fits in with what we're doing here today, but it does in a roundabout way.
Well, that's why I'm curious, because
Yeah.
is the creative practice the theatrical sort of approach, or are you creating something tangible, something that we can see as a design product, or how does it work?
Yeah, I think what we wanted to do today, basically, is to kind of, I suppose, shake up the way that we present our ideas. So we could have come in here today very easily and done a PowerPoint and went through a number of slides in relation to mod's history and what we wanted to do. It's not so much of a smoke screen what we've done, but it's more a different way of portraying and engaging the audience. But our outcome is quite, will involve our different design disciplines, and it will involve, like I say, whether it's printed media, social media, websites, or tapping into the specific, I suppose, skill sets that we have. And I suppose we'll let Jimmy and Patricia talk more about what they do.
I jumped straight into the Masters after doing a degree in creative technologies, also at McGee, and well, the creative technologies is one of those ones that's kind of hard to describe with words. It's like you tell computers to do stuff, but like in a way that makes people go, ooh.
That's the best description yet.
Yeah, so hopefully we can have something tangible that will come out of this that will make people say, ooh.
Yes. Sorry, just to finish on your
Oh,
point,
thank you.
my background is fashion. I've been working in the industry for 10 years in production and retail and in design as well. So I suppose I'm bringing a sort of feminine element to the project. You know, I see it through a woman's eyes, I guess. And maybe even if we have a website, there would be a section on fashion or writing. You know, so that's where I could contribute. Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a question. The academic paper that you're working on, what is that paper about? Is that what's the focus of that paper? Is it about how you went about the project and describing the project? Is that the focus of the paper?
No, the focus of the paper is very much more. Do you remember the research question you came up with?
Where has all the mod gone? It was to address the lack of role models, female role models in our society. We have a lot of international role models which are not really what we want our kids to be looking at. So we were hoping to create a platform. The mod really sort of started the question off. It kind of launched the paper. and then we want to develop the paper to find a resolution, or go towards a resolution for addressing that problem of the lack of female role models in Ireland. Yeah.
I thought I found your presentation very interesting. You find that women, so especially revolutionary women in Irish history, have been written out of the whole screenplay at the expense of their sort of male colleagues, because I know with one of the civil rights mural in Derry, in the Bogside, there was an ongoing controversy that there was no woman portrayed on the mural, that it was all men, and I'm just wondering what your research, if your research has supported that theory.
Yeah, no, I think that is true. I mean, there's a lot of talk now about 1916, and a lot of the focus is on Michael Collins and Pierce and all of the other men. There is a book coming out about the widows of the 1916 men, and I suppose that the lady who wrote that feels that there is a need, to I suppose tell the story of the wives of the people who supported the women behind the men. I guess. Yeah, definitely. I mean, in history, it is usually focused on the revolutionaries, the men who are at the front line. Yeah. Right.
How have you found, you're all from different design backgrounds, creative backgrounds. What's the process like? How are you getting on working together? How have you approached that?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I suppose initially it's just about, seeing where we can all fit in. And until we get, I think we've got a fairly good vision of where we want to go with this now, and that's made it a lot more clear in relation to what we can bring to the table. Even in what we presented today, there were different elements that we could both lend weight to, and I suppose working in partnership and working as a group, it's important obviously that we're all communicating well, and we're each doing our individual parts to make it work, but so far I think it's worked quite well.
Yeah.
That might have come across an actor, but we're not actors. We're not actors, but
I was just going to say, you probably thought about this already, but actually this project is very interesting and something that you might want to push when you go for the Drew conference, is the fact that it's a very interdisciplinary project. It's not just design, it's also